Hello, Boronda Meadows families, and hello to Mrs. Walker. Hi, Mrs. Walker.
Hi, Mrs. Gutierrez and everybody else.
I am so happy that you reached out and you wanted to do a book in honor of Women's History Month.
Yes.
What is the book that you're reading to us, Mrs. Walker?
I'm going to read She Persisted by Chelsea Clinton, and it's illustrated by Alexandra Boiger.
Is there a particular woman or women that you would like to dedicate this book to?
I would like to dedicate it to the women in my family and the students in my classroom, especially the girls, because I want them to think that they can do anything they put their minds to.
Yes. All right, I'm ready, Mrs. Walker.
Alrighty. She Persisted, 13 American women who changed the world. Sometimes being a girl isn't easy. At some point, someone probably will tell you no, will tell you to be quiet, and may even tell you your dreams are impossible. Don't listen to them. These 13 American women certainly did not take no for an answer. They persisted. Harriet Tubman was born a slave, and her story could have ended there. Instead, she persisted, escaping from slavery and becoming the most famous conductor on the Underground Railroad. She risked her life many times to lead countless slaves to freedom, including her family, friends, and strangers. Every person she led to freedom arrived safely. I should fight for my liberty as long as my strength lasted. Once Helen Keller became blind and deaf as a toddler, few people thought she'd be able to learn to read, write, or speak. But she persisted. Helen learned how to do all three and not only became the first person with deaf blindness to graduate from college, but she used her story to help fight for more opportunities for people with disabilities in the United States and around the world. One can never consent to creep when one feels an impulse to soar. After her family fled poverty and the threat of violence in Ukraine for a new home in New York City, Clara Lemlich got a job working at a garment factory. She wrote that the factory's conditions made women into machines, and so she persisted, organizing picket lines and strikes that ultimately helped win better pay, shorter hours, and safer working conditions for thousands of workers, both women and men. I am one of those who suffers from the abuses described here, and I move that we go on a general strike. Nellie Bly became a reporter in part because a male writer had said that working women were a monstrosity, and she wanted to prove that women could do anything. At times putting her safety at risk, she persisted throughout her career in exposing real monstrosities, pretending to be a sweatshop worker and a patient in mental hospitals to show how badly people were being treated. I have never written a word that did not come from my heart. I never shall. Inspired from an early age by her brother's childhood illnesses, Virginia Apgar was determined to be a doctor long before many girls had such dreams. Even though she qualified to be a surgeon, the male head surgeon at her hospital discouraged her because she was a woman. Nevertheless, she persisted, becoming an anesthesiologist and creating the Apgar score to test a newborn baby's health, which hospitals all over the world still use today. Nobody but nobody is going to stop breathing on me. After Maria Talchi's family moved to California, partly to support Maria's dreams of becoming a dancer, she was teased by students in school for her Native American heritage, and later was encouraged to change her last name to something that sounded Russian, since many professional dancers at the time were from Russia. She persisted, ignoring all the taunting and poor advice to become the first great American prima ballerina. It never occurred to me to say, it hurts to do that. As a 15-year-old riding a bus home from school in Montgomery, Alabama, Claudette Colvin was expected to give up her seat to a white woman just because she was African American. In her refusal to get up, she persisted in taking a stand for what's right, helping to inspire Rosa Parks to make the same choice 9 months later, an act many point to as starting the modern civil rights movement. I knew then and I know now that when it comes to justice, there is no easy way to get it. You can't sugarcoat it. You have to take a stand and say, this is not right. When Ruby Bridges was in kindergarten, many schools across America, particularly in the South, still refused African American students their equal rights to an education. Ruby wouldn't be treated like a second-class student, and she persisted, walking for weeks past angry, hateful protesters to integrate an all-white elementary school in New Orleans. That fateful walk to school began a journey, and we almost worked together to continue moving forward. As the first woman to serve as both a U.S. representative and a U.S. senator, Margaret Chase Smith could have let that fact alone be her legacy. Instead, she persisted in championing women's rights and more opportunities for women in the military, standing up for free speech and supporting space exploration. The head of NASA once noted that we wouldn't have put a man on the moon without Margaret. The right way is not always the popular and easy way. Standing for right when it is unpopular is a true test of moral character. Sally Ride always believed women could succeed in any math or science career. Although not everyone agreed, she persisted and she became the first American woman in space. But that wasn't enough for Sally. She traveled into space once more and then created science and engineering programs specifically for girls so she could help generations of young women achieve their dreams too, both on Earth and in outer space. Young girls need to see role models in whatever careers they may choose, just so they can picture themselves doing those jobs someday. You can't be what you can't see. When, as a kid, Florence Griffith Joyner visited her father in the Mojave Desert, he would urge her to run faster and faster, to run as fast as a jackrabbit. Even when she had to leave college to help support her family, she persisted in her training on the track. They went back to school and got faster and faster. Her unbroken world records in the 100-meter and 200-meter sprints set at the 1988 Summer Olympics mean she is still the fastest woman ever. When anyone tells me I can't do anything, I'm just not listening anymore. Oprah Winfrey's grandmother expected Oprah to follow in her footsteps and become a maid. Oprah knew, even as a little girl, that her dreams would take her somewhere else. She persisted in turning those dreams into her reality and became a media superstar, working in movies, books, magazines, theater, and most of all, television, where the Oprah Winfrey Show remains the highest rated talk show of all time. The biggest adventure you can ever take is to live the life of your dreams. Watching fictional judges on television inspired Sonia Sotomayor to want to be a real-life judge when she grew up. She knew she'd have to speak English as well as she spoke Spanish, studied hard in school, and managed her diabetes before she could one day wear a judge's robe with a gavel in hand. She persisted, eventually becoming a Supreme Court justice and the first ever Latina to sit on America's highest court. I had never had to face anything that could overwhelm the native optimism and stubborn perseverance I was blessed with. So, if anyone ever tells you no, if anyone ever says your voice isn't important or your dreams are too big, remember these women. They persisted, and so should you.
That is an amazing book, Mrs. Walker. I am glad that you read that to all of our, especially your students in your classroom, the girls in your classroom, but this really is a powerful message for all girls, all girls students, and also boys.
Yes.
Helping empower our young women, and even the message applies for boys as well. Mrs. Walker, out of all the women in that book, which one did you lean in on more? Which one did you connect with more?
Oh my goodness. The one, I don't know, they all.
I could tell you which one I liked.
Which one did you like? Well, I think about that one.
Ooh, okay. I really like, I'm very passionate about Mrs. Oprah Winfrey. She is definitely someone that I've looked up to. I remember watching her shows when I was like in third or in second grade. Even then I felt like, wow, this lady is very wise.
Yes. I think I'm trying to remember the one that said we're about saying no. I'm trying to remember. When anyone tells me I can't do anything, I think that was Florence Griffith Joyner.
Oh.
I'm just not listening anymore because my favorite saying is, it's not who's going to say no, or I don't know. When somebody tries to tell me no, I just basically say, just watch me, because I try to prove everybody wrong. I'm a very persistent person and I don't give up easily.
Yes.
So
I want to try something new, Mrs. Walker, and you'll be our first guest with this.
Okay.
Students, if you could share the top 3 students, the first 3 students that comment on YouTube, what was your favorite character, or which character or woman could you connect with from the story? We will be giving you 10 PBIS rewards points for giving us your response. But of course, we will need to know your, I'm wondering how this will work, if it will reply with a student ID number, or if it will be even possible. Maybe you're gonna have to do it with your parent account or with an older sibling account if it doesn't work with your with your student ID account. Let's try it. Let's see, students. I'm challenging you, and maybe your families could help with you with this activity. What do you think, Mrs. Walker?
I think that sounds like an amazing idea, and I'm looking forward to hearing who everybody connected with.
Yes.
Because we all need somebody to aspire to and look up to keep us going.
I agree, 100%. Mrs. Walker, it was an honor. Thank you so much for reading this wonderful story to our families.
You're welcome. Thank you.